Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. Today, we're still playing catch up as we re-review the final release of the Ninth Doctor Adventures Series 1. Volume 4, Old Friends, released in February of 2022, directed by Helen Goldwyn. The Ninth Doctor Adventures Old Friends stars Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor and features Warren Brown, John Colshaw, Eleanor Lawless, and Nicholas Briggs as the Cybermen. As always, because I do these unscripted, there is a blanket spoiler warning in place. So if you do not wish to be spoiled, then in the description box below is the link to Big Finish's website, where you can purchase the Ninth Doctor Adventures Series 1, Volume 4, Old Friends. And this set consists of two stories. A single story and a two-parter. So we have got Fond Farewell by David K. Barnes, and Way of the Buryman and the Fourth Generation by Roy Gill. This is just a personal preference of mine, I found, but for a three-story box set, I don't like that one of the stories is a two-parter. It feels like there's not a good usage of time here. I don't know. It's a gut thing. It's a gut feeling type of thing. I don't know how to put it into words. It feels like it makes the box set lack variety. Like, for a four-story box set, if you have two single stories and then a two-parter, it feels a little more justifiable. But for a three-story box set, it feels like we just don't have enough time. Like, either make it a fourth story and add another story, or as a three-story, make it as a three-story box set, make it one three-part story. Again, this is just a weird nitpick. It's a format I don't particularly like. Again, with the three-story box sets, it's just something that just kind of bugged me. It's a personal preference kind of thing. But beyond that, Old Friends is a really solid conclusion to Series 1 of the Ninth Doctor Adventures, or what would eventually be known as Series 1. If I were to rank the Ninth Doctor Adventures Series 1 overall, I would put Ravagers at the bottom. Now, despite what most of the internet thinks, I will defend that Ravagers is a good set. I just think it is the weakest of the Christopher Eccleston sets. And then I would probably say Old Friends is right up after that. And then Respond to All Calls is number 2. Respond to All Calls is really good. And my favorite is, of course, Lost Warriors. The theme, I totally forgot to talk about the overall theme of the set when I re-reviewed Lost Warriors. But the theme of Old Friends overall is the Doctor reconnecting with people he's worked with. In Fond Farewell, it's someone he crossed paths with on an expedition. How do I want to approach this? Well, okay, so basically Fond Farewell is the name of a funeral home, and they basically take the recently deceased brains, thoughts, memories, patterns, and put them into a fake body. I believe they say it's an android or some kind of synthetic. Synthetic is the word the story uses, and allows them, sort of the chance to say goodbye. Now, originally this was for people who died in accidents or died suddenly and didn't get that chance. This was a way for them to give that chance, but the system was hijacked by the super rich who just wanted to see the size of their funerals. And a lot of this, the story says in the story itself. Sadly, beyond that, this story is not the scathing critique of capitalism it sets itself up to be. It is still a good story about the nature of grief and what we do when the people we lose, when we learn unsavory things about them. I do like the twist that there is no antagonist in this story. The events that are set in motion are just unforeseen circumstances of actions motivated by grief. And I always like the twist when a Doctor Who story doesn't have an antagonist. It's like the one, just as an example, it's like the one good thing about Twice Upon a Time. But there is nothing to say about Fond Farewell, just aside from the premise that this person the Doctor worked with has no memories of interacting with him, which leads the Doctor to investigate what's going on, And then, people start dying. And again, it's all a side effect of an action taken in grief. There's just not a lot to say, but realizing, how precious time is, especially to humans, the Doctor decides to meet one of his oldest friends, to reconnect with one of his oldest friends. And that leads us to our two-parter, Way of the Buryman, the fourth generation, where he meets up with Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, the Brigadier. And first thing, I will say, the Brigadier is really good in this story. I really like his characterization, which I'll talk about a little bit. Like, the writing and the direction are what make the Brigadier really good, and the relationship between the Ninth Doctor and the Brigadier really good. I do have to say, this is one of Colshaw's weakest performances, though. Through no fault of his own, I want to say that. It's just, I feel like Colshaw didn't take into account where in the Brigadier's life this was happening, or, like, I don't think as an impressionist he couldn't. No offense to John Colshaw, he's freaking fantastic. But, like, let me try to explain this. Like, if you've ever watched something or listened to Nicholas Courtney later in his life, and there are a few examples of this, he did, I think, 3 big finishes. He did Minuet in Hell with the 8th Doctor. He did The Spectre of Lanyon Moor with the 6th Doctor. And he did the Companion Chronicles Old Soldiers about the 3rd Doctor. And he also did an audiobook of his memoirs for Big Finish. Or even the Sarah Jane Adventures. If you saw the episode The Enemy of the Bane, he was a major character in that. And just, as he got older, Nicholas Courtney's voice changed. It got deeper, it got rougher, it got more gravelly. And Colshaw's impression of Nicholas Courtney still sounds like the Nicholas Courtney of the 70s. He doesn't take into account the Brigadier's age. And that is the one drawback, because otherwise the writing and the direction all really sell the older Brigadier. It's just Colshaw's impression. It's one of his weakest performances. And through the writing, we have really good back and forth with the Ninth Doctor, because, again, this is the Doctor right off of the Time War. This is the Doctor who was just a soldier. And it really and I think the Ninth Doctor and the Brigadier have a fantastic bond in this story, The Doctor sees how the Brigadier has changed over the years, essentially how working with him, the Doctor, has rubbed off. The Brigadier's a little smarter. He's not so gung-ho, jumping in guns blazing. He's more willing to think of alternate solutions. And similarly, the Ninth Doctor as well has those experiences as a soldier. So in a way, the Ninth Doctor and the Brigadier in different ways have rubbed off on each other. And there's a little bit of their respective characters in each other. And really the bond and the chemistry between the Ninth Doctor and the Brigadier is the highlight of this story. Also of note, Warren Brown is in this story playing Sam Bishop. Sam Bishop was an original character created for Big Finish's unit, The New Adventures, which followed the New Who iteration of Unit, with Kate Stewart, Gemma Redgrave, and Petronella Osgood, Ingrid Oliver. Sam Bishop was also a main character created for that series. He was sort of the main action guy. He was sort of the feet on the ground main soldier guy who did all the actiony stuff. Like, if you've seen Criminal Minds, he's the I almost said the wrong guy. Shamar, I'm forgetting his name now. Shamar Moore's character, just as a comparison. So Way of the Buryman, the 4th generation, in a way, is Sam's origin story. It is how Sam Brown came to join Unit, and it was through his ordeals in this particular adventure and his working with the Doctor and the Brigadier. It's also really funny, and kind of a hilarious coincidence that as this story was coming out, Big Finish had also kind of reformatted Unit, the new series, and they were currently doing a miniseries, Unit Nemesis, with Volume 1 having just released a couple months before Old Friends came out. And then Unit Nemesis would kind of go on to be the send-off for the new Unit team, because because Kate Stewart and Unit is a major presence in Russell T Davies' new era. It's just kind of funny the timing of this because Warren Brown's character Sam is not in Unit Nemesis. So I just thought that was kind of funny. But of course, the major development of this story is that the Cybermen are back, and we also kind of get our big reveal, quote unquote, that there has been an overall arc to the Ninth Doctor Adventure Series 1. Like, if you notice, and every time it happens, the TARDIS has been trying to get the Doctor to Scotland. I don't remember if it happened in Ravagers, but like Girl Interrupted in Respond to All Calls, and then The Curse of Lady Macbeth in Lost Warriors. And now here, the TARDIS has been trying to get the Doctor to Scotland at this time to face the Cybermen. And also in Lost Warriors, the Cyberman... Sorry, in Lost Warriors, the Cyberman in Monster in Metropolis warned the Doctor about this because that Cyberman was a part of the same team. He separated from his other Cyberman, co-Cyberman, whatever it is. And, basically the Cybermen have been getting ready to convert people into, continue the cyber race. We know what the Cybermen are doing. And it's really interesting because the Cyberman here, the main Cyberman of this story, has been in this area in Scotland for some time. He was here during the construction of the bridge, and he used the materials from the construction of the bridge to try and build new Cybermen. And this is also where the theming of Old Friends comes into play, because aside from the Ninth Doctor reconnecting with the Brigadier, Old Friends also has a bigger meaning, especially to this story, because we meet a character who is very invested in the history of her hometown here, and the construction of this bridge and railway and all the people who lost their lives, which, spoilers, they didn't. They were actually converted into Cybermen. And, she cared about their identities, who they were, because in the annals of history, they are nameless lost souls. And she is trying to restore their identities to them, make people remember who they were. And that theme of Old Friends really plays into that story in this way, and it is a major factor in defeating the Cybermen, the simple conformity versus individuality type of thing, because the Cybermen are essentially doing the same thing that history did. I really don't have much more to say. Again, I think Old Friends has some weird structuring issues just from the fact that it is a 3-story box set doing one single story and then one multi-part story. But the stories are really strong. It's got a really strong theme to it. Christopher Eccleston and John Colshaw are phenomenal and play off their characters really well off each other. And the writing itself has great chemistry. It's just overall really good. But those are just my thoughts. Have you heard The Ninth Doctor Adventures, Series 1, Volume 4, Old Friends? What are your thoughts? Please start a conversation in the comments below. And remember to like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload. And in the description box below, you'll find the link to my socials where you can follow me and get updates on the channel. This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and I'll see you guys next time.